always, guys, respect the pump. I respect the pump in all assets. Why? Because it's kind of like karma. You know, the power of the pump always comes back to you if you respect the pump of other people.
GM, and welcome back to the channel. In this one, we're taking a look at what the heck is going on with YGG, the mega pump that has come out of nowhere, and how the rest of the gaming market is reacting to this, because there seems to be a coordinated gaming pump here. Is this the bottom, or is this a bit of a pump and dump? Let's jump in and see what we find. Just to kick things off, Bitcoin here, an important week ahead. As you can see, we're compressing into this kind of wedge pattern here. Bitcoin's around 29,000 bucks. It has just been on a slow grind down and to the right for quite a bit of time here, and it is boring a lot of people to death. However, this week we have CPI on the 10th, and then the following week we have on the 13th of August, ARK's Bitcoin ETF decision. So following that up from a potentially hot CPI print, some are predicting, maybe we will see an increase in volatility around Bitcoin around the end of next week into the start of the following. So Lord Becker has spoken yet again, and he just said this a few days back. I predict there's a 70% chance of a gaming bull in the next 16 months. And you've got this kind of big Vegas bet on your hands here, because you can easily get between a 10 to 20x on most of the coins out there, he is saying. He says, no, this isn't guaranteed, 70% chance of a gaming bull, but he thinks it's a good risk to reward to put some bets down at this point in time. Now, were the market makers listening to this? Because over the last 24 hours, we've seen some huge pumps across the board here, and YGG is stealing all of the headlines. Yield Guild Games, as it says on the tin there, a gaming guild has pumped 225% in the last 7 days and up 42% just today. And I'm not sure if this has triggered a load of algos across the market, and that's why we're seeing a bit of a market-wide pump here. But as you can see, 10, 20, 30% gainers are quite common in the big caps there. And if you go to the small cap coins, a lot of them up double-digit percentages as well. So is this a coordinated pump, or are we seeing gamers return and start to scoop up some coins at the lows here? Well, let's dive into YGG. So YGG had this posted about them on the Binance feed. So I'm not sure if there's a bit of shenanigans going on with Binance and potentially DWF Labs, one of the big market makers who famously hold all their coins. No joke right now, they hold all of their coins in their portfolio on Binance directly. No hot wallets, no cold wallets, just directly on Binance, which is pretty crazy stuff. Now, Binance tweeted out this over a 50% surge in the price of YGG. The token experienced a remarkable increase, they say here. So this is kind of getting people on the radar of YGG. That was 49 cents, and it started to go quite a bit higher. It went over 60 cents. So the kind of conspiracies in the background here, Hasaka is pointing out, is look, YGG tweeted this out, super proud of the SuperQuest and Gap4 product teams as we progress with Yield Guild Games. So YGG with a bit of an announcement saying, look, we've got some cool stuff progressing here, and then DWF with the big rocket emoji following up there. And then when you check the chain, you can see DWF Labs are a big holder of the actual YGG token, and they recently just added 3.65 million tokens to the Binance exchange. So they've been buying this token up for quite some time. A little bit of news comes out from the team, then this all gets transferred to Binance directly, and what we started to see was the token price was rocketing into outer space. So this is definitely some unusual price action. Is it market manipulation? What the heck is going on? I really have no idea. But as you can see from the volume profile down here, that is not just an anomaly, that is actually crazy. $1.29 billion is the actual amount of 24-hour trading volume that took place there. And so yesterday, I believe it was, there was more trading volume on YGG than both Bitcoin and Ethereum, which is very, very fishy. So either YGG have found the cure for hunger, or some shenanigans is going on here. And I would actually bet on the latter here, because that is a ridiculous amount of volume coming in, and then you can see the price rocketing up from roughly around 17 cents to around 53 cents on the weekly. Let's just pull this up to the daily. And as you can see, anyone who was holding this prior to the recent pump has made some massive multiples there. So is this going to continue, or is this about to dump off? Well, as per Hasaka's remainder of the tweet, they say, look, would be surprised if this tweet is not used as evidence in court by Gary Gensler. And Hasaka says, don't see what the fuss is about. They're just moving coins for custody purposes. That in reference to the fact they hold all of their funds on the Binance exchange. And he also followed up with this: if I was a sophisticated actor in the space, I would use this extremely public transaction to bait the chain checkers and already pumped us into rage shorting this and then send it higher for one last hurrah, unloading all the spot into their liquidations. But I'm not, so I don't know. And I think he's spot on here. There is some market manipulation going on right now, and they're playing a real game with YGG investors and people trying to short this. And of course, when something does this craziness all the way up here, putting in a Gigga pump, people of course are going to see that as an anomaly and say, look, I'm going to short this thing because this is definitely going to retrace. And if we go to coinalyze.net, look at the funding rates here, minus 1.5, minus 1.5, minus 1.97. These are huge amounts of short interest and horrendous funding rates to be paying here for being short this token. So there are huge amounts of traders betting this thing will go down. So this could well be the fuel for the fire for the market makers, the DWF labs here who have tons of coins on the exchange, pump the price up, wreck all the shorts, and as Osaka says, then unload the spot positions as the shorts have to rebuy at higher prices. This would be perfect market manipulation, which is pretty bad to see and almost seems too obvious in hindsight here. But is this the reason that the rest of the gaming market has started to go up? That is probably the likely scenario here because there's not been really any major releases. We haven't had, say, Illuvium just go live or any of the big names really pump out something fundamentally strong right now. It seems that the algos do trigger one another when you see a big cap play like this really go on a moon mission. And so I do think we still have some time to accumulate gaming coins, but let's just see where this one plays out over the rest of this week. But it looks like market manipulation at its finest, but let's jump into some other gaming coins just for the fun. So first and foremost, Arbitrum's Layer 3 DMT, the Sanko Dream Machine here, consistently putting in higher lows and now has breached a brand new all-time high here. To pull this chart out to max, this one looks incredibly strong and tails off the back of not only gaming, because they have some cool games in there, some things ready to be released like Sanko Escape. They have already released games like Milady Tekken and others, but they also tread on the gambling lines as well. They've got poker, you can play Uno for cash, and a lot more on there. So this one is just like a gaming and gambling ecosystem overall that is just continuing to see new inflows of funds here. Even as overall most altcoins are going down, this one seems to get significant bid to it. And the market cap is still only 26 mil. The fact it's not on ETH mainnet, the token it's on Arbitrum, I think does hold it back somewhat. If this was on ETH mainnet, I think it would be a lot higher. But it's definitely one to just continue to watch and look for dips on, in my opinion, due to the fact they have so much going on and they have yet to release their full mainnet layer 3. So if we just scroll through the feed so you can see a little bit of info on this one, they have amazing crypto Twitter based lore. And it says, look at this, what do you say? Sanko Chain, DMT as the gas token, Sanko Scan, DMT NFT mints, Sanko TV, layer 3 is not a meme, coming August of 2023. So they've got a lot in the pipeline here, and this will be its own gaming chain overall. So I think it's a pretty good play as a proxy bet in the gaming ecosystem, and also kind of memeish and a lot of fun, and a lot of bigwigs over on crypto Twitter are into this. Then we have Vulcan Forged, ticker PYR. This is another one that I expect to do very well over the coming bull market. Listed on Binance and Coinbase. I honestly think the Coinbase effect is going to be a big one, as they're going to try and onboard tons of users via the base chain. And what we saw in the last bull market for Vulcan Forged was that they were very committed to building out epic products. They built out their own metaverse and did very public like AMA appearances, that kind of stuff that made people feel that this is very transparent. And they got a huge amount of community buy-in with their kind of masternode structure behind things. And if we just pull this out, it has been down only, of course, throughout this bear market, but it has slowed in terms of the lows. I think anything around $3 is fair game at this point to start accumulating. It hasn't really breached that on many occasions, and the all-time high for this is $50, which is a huge 17x away from the price point we are at right now. So again, kind of a 17x away. I think it can definitely hit that. The CEO as well is very pumpermentals first. He does like to hype himself up and the products they've launched, and they have built out a load of cool stuff, to be fair to them. So they've recently announced a launch pad, the Elysium pad, where you have to stake PYR tokens to get in on the pre-sale. So that is going to be another sink for the tokens, another place for them to be locked up on top of their own metaverse, on top of their kind of masternode structure. And so I think these guys are playing it very well with the tokenomics and kind of what they're doing with their community, getting people very much engaged. A lot of people do say this is highly centralized. I was looking through bubble maps just to see, but this is one of the disbursement contract addresses. As you can see, this main bubble holds around 26% of the total supply. This one, I think, is crypto.com's down here. To me, looking through this, I wasn't too unimpressed with their disbursement of tokens. I have seen worse. And in terms of the holders on here, all the big ones are essentially a bridge or the exchanges. So I think, to be honest with you, at $3 is a pretty decent play for the next bull run, where we could come back to test those all-time highs yet again. And when you look at the socials as well, some of the big influencers, SZ, Trader SZ, Crypto ISO, and others on Twitter are big into this one. And so when you think about a bull market, you want to think about who's going to be social proofing this online. And if people have got big audiences, it does make these things even more pumpy. So you kind of do want to align your bags with some of the bigger accounts out there as well. So that is definitely on my radar. Then finally here we have the Heist at Play the Heist over on Twitter, a Solana based game, essentially cops and robbers but with monkeys. So the chimps, the apes, the gorillas, the orangutans, all of these cool NFTs yield in-game currency, which is in season 2. So season 2 is about to launch next week. They're going to be yielding Coco and playing for Coco. In the previous season it was Nana, the banana token, and there was never enough Nana is the actual phrase they run with. And they're trying to make that kind of like the Bitcoin of this ecosystem, with plenty of in-game sinks for Nana, i.e. ways to get rid of the Nana token, but no more emissions for it throughout season 2. So the highly inflationary token will be Coco, but if you want to do things like NFT upgrades or get your chimp out of jail, if he gets caught on a heist, you have to pay the Nana price. So the Nana is the forfeit, and all the Nana they take through in-game uses, they actually burn. So this is a highly deflationary crypto, as this guy says here, not hitting any big ones at the moment, but just grabbing as much Coco as I can before season 2 starts. One of his chimps got caught, and he says, these idiots are making me spend my hard-earned Nana to get him back out of jail, because of course you move your chimps to do the quest, to do the heists, to earn the Coco, but if they do get pinched by the law, which in this case is the gorillas, then they have to do some hard time, so your NFT is out of action and not earning for you, or you have to pay Nana to get him back out, and that Nana is then subsequently burned. So this is a highly deflationary crypto and a game that is just getting a lot of traction. If you follow this on Twitter, they're getting very much hyped, and that is the chart over the last 24 hours. Pull this out to max. It looks pretty damn good, doesn't it? Let's be honest. So I am very bullish on this continuing. As we know with any popular games, if they get more notoriety, more popular, then they'll bring more people into the ecosystem. It's as simple as that. And this is the current total supply of Nana. Over 500 million have been burned. Only 433 mil are remaining. So the market cap is just 5 million US dollars overall for this in-game asset, which is set to be the kind of Bitcoin of this game, the main asset that should accrue the most value. So if the game does even better in season 2 than it did in season 1, then I do expect this to go quite a bit higher as well. So those are where my tentacles are at in the gaming sector. Drop me some of your favorite gaming picks down below so I can check them out, ready for this next bull run. I'll see you in the next one. Subscribe if you're new. Peace.